Disney as a company needs to figure out how to deal with all their loss of income from COVID-19. Disney made $1 billion kajillion gazillion dollars last year from fucking like the last Avengers movie, the last Star Wars movie, 1 billion live action remakes. And oh yeah, Disney Plus launching and making all the money in the universe. Like, call me a radical man, but I don't think that people should be having to risk their lives dying in a Buzz Lightyear costume whenever Disney has more money than God. Think about how Disney is opening up in the US. Oh my God. Like, I had a tweet today about that, like quote tweeting their ad where they had like all of their employees talking directly like to the camera, being like, welcome home, welcome home. And then they have like a stormtrooper going, welcome home, citizen, like right at the end. And it's just so creepy. But then they like took that video down, but they're still gonna open. So they like realized it was bad optics, but they're still gonna like probably cause a few hundred deaths from people going. Disney adults low-key scare me. Well, here's the thing with me. Like, I have only been to Disneyland. I haven't been to Disney World. I've been wanting to go to Disney World for a long time. It's been like top of my to-do list. It's just something that like I haven't gotten to do because like just there's never been a good time for it. And just like the past couple years have been too crazy. But I've always wanted to go to Disney World. And I actually, if you're super into theme parks, like you do you. That's totally fine. I play friggin' video games for a living. I cannot judge like anyone for having childish hobbies. If adults are ruining something that's additionally or that's originally intended for kids, that's like a toxic part of a fandom or whatever. But like people that just like to go to like Disneyland and like get a bit too into it and like tweet about it or vlog about it or whatever, I personally like, you do you. Like, people can find joy wherever, and like, yeah, whatever brings you happiness. But holy shit, you cannot reopen Disney World in the middle of a global pandemic when literally the area where Disney World is like increasing in deaths and hospitalizations and like every bad metric at the moment. Like, shit is not good down there at the moment. And so it is so disturbing to have like cheery like Disney music in the background and people wearing masks and like smiling to the camera, but it's not quite entirely like reaching their eyes. And it's like, do they really want to be there, like opening up this park, or are they just doing it because that's their job and that's the only way they can get paid right now because the government's federal response is a disaster and everyone has to rely on potentially dangerous jobs to get by and stuff? And it's just, ooh, like, no, you can't reopen Disney World right now. Stop that. Don't do it. At some point in the future, like, we as a society are going to have to figure out like how to open these spaces back up and how to go back to locations that are like primarily there as like entertainment and the arts and everything. So like live theater, Disney World, like there's a whole lot of industries that do need to reopen eventually because a lot of people like rely on them. And I very much sympathize with those people. But those conversations compared to where the United States is at right now are so far off in the future that it's like insulting to be trying to like force a happy face and be like, the government really doesn't give a shit about this, so I guess we're opening up Disneyland. Welcome home. Oh, hello, Percy. What are your thoughts on the American response to the COVID-19 pandemic? I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I do agree with that to a point. But those people who work at those parks do need to make a living too, 100%. And anyone that like does work at a Disney park, like they deserve to get paid. But Disney as a company should just be giving them like their wages, and Disney as a company needs to figure out how to deal with all their loss of income from COVID-19. Disney made a billion, cajillion, gazillion dollars last year from fucking like the last Avengers movie, the last Star Wars movie, a billion live action remakes. And oh yeah, Disney Plus launching and making all the money in the universe. Like, call me a radical man, but I don't think that people should be having to risk their lives dying in a Buzz Lightyear costume whenever Disney has more money than God. Like, Disney should figure out, take care of their people, and then fight with the government. If Disney wants to open the parks back open as soon as possible, Disney should spend a dickload of money getting Donald Trump out of office and getting someone in that's going to do at least something about the coronavirus pandemic. That's what Disney should be doing, not forcing their employees to have to go in and sell churros to people that are going to cough on them. Disney totally should, but the sad part is they won't. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. These people shouldn't have to go back to work in dangerous conditions like that. The parks should stay closed, and just something needs to happen to help people without them having to get into danger. There's funny memes going on in Australia where all the states are glaring at Victoria for letting a second wave of corona get started. There's actually a lot of similar like Canadian memes and stuff. Cause so like I'm from the East Coast originally, and I think Prince Edward Island, like my home province, has had a grand total of like 24 like coronavirus cases like in this entire thing, with a population of like 130,000. And a lot of that's due to like it's an island, and they like closed off like whenever the provinces kind of locked down like travel between them. PEI became like pretty safe, and then didn't have any for a long time. There was no cases, new cases on the island from like April onward, and then just this week like 3 new cases popped up in a nursing home, and they locked that location down. They don't think anyone else has been infected, but holy shit, the amount of like crazy that people went with like being seriously upset over it, and just like memes and like everything, and just like so much craziness over like 3 new cases in the area. And then it's like some other areas are doing so much worse than that. Like eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later, there will be vaccines and there will be therapeutics, and like we are going to be able to have things be less severe than they are now. And there's unfortunately a lot of people in places of power in the world that thrive on ignorance and deception and manipulation, and they genuinely do not care at the impact of them mishandling this virus, because they're hoping that maybe they can get some political goodwill out of ignoring it. And that's awful. That I would argue that is evil. So the only thing that we can kind of do at the moment is do everything you can as a citizen in whatever country you're in. And I said some, like I've said some stuff that's pretty pointed at Trump, but like this goes for everyone, like internationally. Like Canadians should do this too, whatever country. Use what powers you have as a citizen of your country to advocate for your politicians to represent you as best they can, to represent your interests, to do things for the health and safety of people in your society. Do what you can to support people in your immediate community. As an individual, it can feel like it's really hard to enact change, like on a national level, whenever like a lot of these decisions that are bad around COVID like are being made on such a huge scale that it can seem like overwhelming and there's nothing you can do. But it's a lot easier to make local change and advocate for local policies and whatever you can do to make things better for the people in your life. And just watch out for the people you care about, the people you love, and yeah, just everyone be as kind to each other as you can.